Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the episode 2 of Adobe Community Chat. This is our first episode with a guest, and we have Marsha from MageMojo on. Welcome, Marsha.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be on your first edition.
Yeah, well, it's technically our second episode, first edition, but yes, thank you. And today we're going to talk about Meet Magento New York. And I'm very excited. I've gone to, I think, every single Meet Magento New York. I might have missed one of them, but I've certainly gone to the majority of them, and they are such a great event, and we're so excited. Well, we're disappointed that we can't have it in person this year, but we're excited that the event is still going on. Maybe Marsha. Well, first, Marsha, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do for a real job? I know that Meet Magento New York does take up at least 100% of your time, but the other 100%, what do you do for fun and a living?
Well, yes, right now, Meet Magento New York takes up 100% of my time. Closer to the event, the volume of work increases significantly. The volume of email increases significantly, but it's a fun time, right? I have a great team. I love working with them. I know we'll pull off a great event, and somehow this event brings us closer together, which is a lot of fun. And right now that we're in isolation, I think once I cross state lines, and other than that, the furthest trip I make is to my mailbox. Well, actually, not really. You'll be interested to hear, Brent. And I'm not comparing notes, and I'm not telling you my times, but a new thing for me was I started jogging.
Wow. Very
Not
exciting.
running. I can't call what I do running, but we start somewhere, right? And, actually, a Meet Magento event is responsible for this. I was at a Meet Magento event in Bangkok, and one of my friends, Jim, was there, who is a very seasoned runner, was talking to me about posture and, landing on the ball of your foot and, demonstrating to me how I should do it. And I was thinking, not me. There is no way I can do this. And I started out with, I think, 15 minutes on my treadmill. And in 15 minutes, I was winded. And I was thinking, how do people do this? And then I was up to 20 and then a half hour. And it was getting rather boring on my treadmill, looking at this wall. And Jim was like, okay, Marsha, you have got to go outside. I'm like, outside in the real world where there's other people? But I did it. And it was so much fun because, I live in a beautiful neighborhood, and right now it's fall and the colors are changing. And I'll admit, I don't care about my time. I enjoy it. I get out there, I stop and take pictures, or, just watch birds migrating. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's exciting.
It is.
I don't know. So we were signed up for the Cape Town Marathon this year,
Ah,
no, Johannesburg Marathon, and of course we couldn't go. And you are from South Africa originally?
I am.
Yeah, so
That would have been amazing. I'm sorry you missed it. In fact, this was the year I was going home to see mom. Saved up my miles, figured out which suitcases we're taking, and yeah, we won't be doing that for some time, unfortunately.
yeah, it's
Look
tough.
forward to it though.
Yeah, so you are quite the jet setter. You compete against Ben Marks, I think, for around the world trips, and I'm sure that you only had to save one trip to India to get enough miles to get back to South Africa.
South Africa. Yep. We had it all planned out. I
Yeah,
do miss the travel, but it's nice being home and, enjoying a home and exercising regularly and choosing what you eat. That's not all bad, right?
absolutely. Yes, perfect. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about, can you give us a little bit of background on Meet Magento and how you got involved in it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great story, and it's a matter of timing and relationships. So our good friend, we all know Ignacio Risco of Interactive 4. He'd managed Meet Magento New York for about 3 years, I think. Yes, it was 3 years. And he was at the point when he was handing it over to someone else. Um, I attended Meet Magento Vietnam in 2016, where I met who was at that time the head of the Meet Magento Association, Thomas Golitz. And it was just in a friendly conversation at the after party of Meet Magento Vietnam. It kind of made sense, right? MageMojo is based in New York. We were interested and clearly capable of pulling off a great event, and the rest is history. I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah, that's exciting, and I've had a similar experience. I met Thomas, I think at Meet Magento Germany or Magento Live Germany or whatever. And so you started doing it a couple of years ago, is that right? 3 years
This will
ago
be our
now?
fourth year.
Fourth year, wow.
Yes,
That's
I'm
great.
surprised.
Yeah, so give us some of your best experiences around the event and your memories.
I think the best memories are of people who don't think they can get up on stage and speak, and seeing their reactions when they do it, and how amazing they feel, and the reactions they get from the community, which makes them, which is motivating, and they do it over and over again. It's just fantastic. I remember at one event, a person pulled me aside and asked me, and she was really nervous and asked me, how do you do this? I'd really like to. And then seeing her actually get up on stage and do it, those are just amazing experiences. And I think for me, since I started hosting Meet Magento New York, the number of friends I have has just increased significantly. It's so amazing to feel so connected to people around the world. And I think the Magento community is special. It is a very helpful, nurturing community. So it's very easy to make great connections.
Yeah, so kind of talking about that, now that we can't meet in person, what, uh, how do you feel the online events are going? And have you attended an online event already?
I
Um,
have. So that was the start of this exploration, right? We spent some time thinking about Meet Magento New York and finding the perfect venue. And then early on this year, we realized, well, an in-person event is not going to happen, right? We started down the path of finding the perfect virtual platform, and then I thought, well, what does that mean? What do people need from a virtual event? So I took a step back and started to attend events to figure out what others are doing, and try to go from there, which led me down a path of, this massive spreadsheet with all these must-haves and not-haves, and and trying to meet that with what really existed with platforms out there. And that was not easy, right? It's easy to come up with this list of what you want, but there are hundreds of platforms out there. And it's not a simple issue of a checkbox. For example, does the platform have native streaming? Checkboxes. Yep, native streaming. But then you go down that path and it's like, okay, works well for one track and maybe 3 tracks. What we have at Meet Magento New York is 3 tracks with changes every half hour. So, it really takes a deep dive into all of those platforms to figure out, does this actually work for us? But I think, by chance, we found this amazing platform. And we have to give credit to Mulyadi Geo, right? So, and that's a great story too. So Mulyadi had chosen a platform for Meet Magento Indonesia. And he thought he was all set. We were all comparing notes on what we'd found, and the two of us decided on totally different platforms. And the week of his event, he realized there was some major access issue for people in Indonesia. And he stumbled across Tupelo, and he pivoted 2 days before his event. And he set it up. He did a great job, but that would have been hair-raising. Brent, can you imagine changing your platform 2 days before the event? But he did a fantastic job. I'm so glad he's found it. And I think I am using it for Meet Magento New York. You are for Mexico, right?
yep, that's correct. And
That's
we're
6th
very
November, right?
yeah, 6th of November. Yep, and we're excited that their head office is only a kilometer away from our office in Ahmedabad. So You know,
That's
we
fantastic.
yeah, so we're able to kind of talk to some of the developers, and hopefully we can do some more collaboration around how can we make Magento and events work together. But yeah, that's a great story, and I had the same experience with Muladi on how he came up with it, and even I had a great experience speaking at that event. I think I was the first or second speaker on, and so it went very smooth, very
It
smooth.
did. Right, right. You were the first speaker. And it's not just you and I who's using it. I also spoke with Ramesh at Renosis about it. So Renosis is now using it for Meet Magento Singapore. So it's becoming the platform of choice for Meet Magento events. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Muladi was nice enough to let me speak first because I usually go to bed about 9:30. So I think I came on at 9 and I started dozing off halfway through my talk. But he was able to send me some caffeine and some coffee in advance. So no, it was really good, and I think Meet Magento New York is going to be fantastic on this platform. I think the vendors are going to love it. One thing memorable for me was I think it was the last live one. You had such a great marketplace. So I know that the sponsors, that's a big thing for the sponsors, and the marketplace is so active. Have you
Mm-hmm.
have you looked at how this marketplace is going to work with Hublio and seen how that interacts with the sponsors and the attendees?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the marketplace. Let me tell you a bit about the platform, if you don't mind, and I'll get to um, specifics on the sponsors. So um, it is a very exciting platform. There's a lot going on, but still, the interface is really simple. It's very easy to use. Even without any tutorials, anyone can enter the event and figure it out. Um, there's so many rich interactions. So there's a reception, an attendee list, meeting space, a networking lounge, contests, the sponsor area. So the reception area, it's just basically your event description, all your social links, the top networkers. It does this really fun thing that it awards points to networking, to various aspects of networking. And then the top networkers, they get this little crown above their head. Um, that's a good thing and a bad thing, but I'll tell you a little more about that a bit later. And
Yeah.
yeah, so there's an event feed. And that's just public post. Anyone can go there. Sometimes at events we had this like WhatsApp chat going where everyone would contribute. But this is just native to the platform, right? People can post about what their companies are doing, contests they have, what they're offering. So it's a really fun area. You can find most of what you need there. And then the attendee area shows you everyone who's registered. You can search, it offers matching. It's really fantastic. And the sponsor area, it's really exciting booths. They have text and video chat, and I can go into that a little more for you. But the sponsors have put a lot of time into it. So I would say to everyone, get registered on meetmagento.nyc. Go and look at the sponsor booths. They're really fun. And that's the other thing that's different this year, right? The platform is already open. We opened it up. We've spent enough time apart from each other. The platform is open. We have, I think, something like over 500 people already registered and networking. So go join them. There's a meeting area. So you can see the meetings that you have scheduled and confirmed, as well as pending requests. And you can either chat with people or set up video calls. The networking lounge is like an actual table. So you can see who's seated at the table, go take a seat, and again, text chat or have a video call with them. Anyone can set up contests, great way to engage. And, the community really drives all of it. So you can have this great platform, but if people are not actually using it, we'll never figure out what is the best platform for us. So let's hope we all get to use it. When you register, so my advice is there's a two-step process for registration. You fill out the registration form, then you get a prompt to complete your profile. That allows you to add a picture and just think with a list of 1,000 attendees, it's so easy to scroll by those that don't have pictures, right? So pictures are great. You can fill in your industry and your interests, tell people what you're looking for. So the platform automatically suggests matches for you. If you don't fill out those selections, the platform can't do the matching. And you can change your profile as many times as you like to get different results. So yeah, complete your profiles. For the sponsors themselves, as I said, you can add a demo video, PDFs, product images. Anyone at the event can reach out to a sponsor. If they don't have much time, they drop a virtual business card. And the virtual business card, by the way, does not share email addresses or telephone numbers. It just shares a profile. And those virtual business cards are immediately added to a contact list for the sponsor. So the sponsor can go to their dashboard, see who's tried to connect with them, and set up video meetings or chat meetings with them. It really is a handy tool. Apart from that, sponsors can do the attendee search themselves, right? They can reach out to any attendee on the list. So there's various ways to find rich interactions on the platform. I think for me, that's what I'm really looking for at an event, right? I have been a speaker, a sponsor, and a regular attendee at various events. So I think we've got a great platform, but we never know, right? It's only after the event when we get feedback from people, which is not easy, that we can figure out, is this the great way to go for sponsors and attendees and speakers? So we really hope everyone has a great time and gives us some feedback.
Yeah, are you sure you're not working for Julio now? Because that was a great sales pitch.
Actually, I've looked at so many platforms.
I can
it was
imagine.
really confusing at one point. So Jordan is also on our team. You would have seen him in the opening of Meet Magento New York 2019. We sat through so many demos that we were confusing them. It was like, oh, is that a feature on platform 3 or platform 99? We can't keep it straight anymore. And when we found this one, we were like, okay, this is great. Let's just do this.
Now, is Shannon Kelly going to be the MC this year? Because he was hilarious last year.
He's amazing, isn't he? He was made for that role, and he loves getting up on stage. He does a great job, yes. So he was MC, Shannon Kelly from Vertex. On the tech stage last year. He will be back on the technical stage this year. We're so glad he wanted to do that. We have some other great MCs. So TJ Gamble, e-commerceaholic, we all know him and love him. He'll be MC probably on the business track. And we have Talesh C. Parson. He's also an MC. Looking forward to having them all with us. But yeah, with virtual events, the fun thing is that you get to do everything in duplicate, right? So we have MCs and backup MCs and backstage folks and backstage folks. You can never trust that something will not go down.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. So how do you think what do you think there's some advantages now that we're online completely? What are the advantages of the event over just the in-person event?
I think for me, it's definitely accessibility, right? For everyone, for companies, for individuals, that's at the top of my list. The cost of attendance is just so much lower with online events. And depending on the platform an event selects, the cost of hosting the event is also lower, which means lower sponsorship costs, lower attendance tickets. So the strongest advantage may be for previously marginalized speakers who could not travel or take time off work to attend, or for international sponsors who previously had to consider the cost of travel, the cost of visas, the time it takes to get the visas and then get your tickets and hotels set up. So I think online events will probably see a greater international participation for one, and greater participation in general than face-to-face events. The lower event and sponsorship fees means that smaller companies can be featured as sponsors, especially those who are starting up in the Magento world. I know that MageMojo has always tried to find bigger venues in New York City to accommodate smaller booths to provide those opportunities for smaller companies. And that's not easy in New York City, right? Virtual events presents just that opportunity. So we are really excited to go online this year. I'm not one of those who thinks, that it's a disadvantage. I don't think that online events are absolutely going to replace face-to-face events, but like work from home, it has made its mark on the industry already, and it will continue to do so. But with online events, we hopefully will see talk submissions from those who previously could not attend, right? Speaking at events, and also when you're speaking from your home, your prep time is reduced as a speaker. You have your notes and your cues right in front of you. You're in a familiar environment. So it's so much easier. And you only have to really get well dressed from the waist up, right? Lots of time savings there.
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't put on pants in March, so I agree with you 100%.
yeah, and a lot of the online events are free, so that just increases accessibility. And even if we can't take an entire day off work, with free events, you can spend your lunch break networking, right? Or catch a talk here and there. And then if you're registered, you have access to the talk recordings afterward. So many pluses with online events. So I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing for me is the possibility that we'll be able to do hybrid events in the future. So, just like what you were saying, you can now, from the sponsor side, sponsors have the opportunity to either attend the event or have another type of sponsorship where they're in the virtual event. And then at the same token, like in Meet Magento India, uh, you know how hard it is to get it. Well, for not, it's not hard to get around, but sometimes it's expensive to get around. So somebody now, if we did the event in Ahmedabad, people from Mumbai can attend, or Hyderabad, or any of the cities, without having to take that expense and trying to find somewhere to stay and all those fun things. And we can all drink in our own homes if the event's in Ahmedabad.
There you go. Yeah,
I know that was, we only had one complaint from one person. It was anonymous, but they were from Michigan. That was the weird thing. And they said,
hmm.
"Oh, we like the event, but we can't drink."
I wonder who that might have been. Michigan rings a bell somewhat. Mm.
Yeah, or you'd be like what Ben Marks brought a whole bunch of booze, and anyways, yeah. Last year was in Mumbai. We had lots of cocktails.
that was It was a really amazing event, and well, Meet Magento India this year would be the only in-person Meet Magento event this year.
Yeah, that's true. And I, thinking back then, and then looking into March, did you ever think that, oh, we'd never be able to do it in September? Like, did you think, oh, Meet Magento New York, it's not going to happen?
Actually, I did in March, definitely. For me, we could see how things were unfolding, right, from China into Europe, and I was a little surprised when we were traveling that there weren't any restrictions, that we freely entered the US without any tests, without any questions. We were getting really anxious, and we were under no illusion that an in-person event would happen. We'd done the research for a physical venue, and we did not sign the agreements. I didn't think it was the responsible thing to do to be promoting a face-to-face event, right? We were thinking we should be in isolation already. We should have more controls. But yeah, we are where we are now. And like I was saying, work from home is not all bad. Virtual events for me are fantastic. It's just this gold mine. And yeah, Brent, we'll see hybrid events. So if I do a face-to-face event again, I definitely want this module that allows everyone to register, and for everyone at the event to be able to search this list of attendees and figure out who are great connections. And it kind of condenses all the information for you, right? I mean, especially when you're new in the community, have you had this experience of walking around an event space and trying to, read name tags and company names and asking questions, and people say, "Oh, I'm a system integrator. I, create valuable solutions for blah blah blah," and you're standing there, very new, you don't know the lingo yet, thinking, "What do you do?" But these apps make it all very simple for you. You can read about the profile, you have access to the company information, figure out what all the people in this amazing community do, and put all the pieces together to figure out, what do I do in this community, what is of most value, and find your special niche.
Do you think that our new hybrid events are going to have little robots that have iPads where the person is there virtually and they're just driving around to each booth and then going into talks and seeing them virtually?
I see that happen. I've already been at meetups where there's these little robots walking around, and it surprised me at first. Like, whoa, who was that? Oh, what was that? But yeah, it's great for people to be able to attend from anywhere in the world. It gives us this little push, right? I mean, we thought we lived in this digital world, but what happened when we went into isolation? We had all this trouble buying stuff online and with delivery, and okay, we need a little push in the right direction. We need to fix these. And geographic boundaries should not matter anymore. We're being fast forwarded into this virtual world. And I think, there's definitely aspects that makes our lives a lot easier and cheaper. And I spoke at Meet Magento UK this year, and I had a good night's sleep before a talk. That I think that's the first time that's happened in a few years. Yeah, with the time differences, I was up at maybe 5 a.m., but hey, not serious, right? It was a great event, great experience speaking online, and the text chat and during the talk helped me feel like I'm still connected to people, even though I can't see an audience. Questions afterward is great, and people reach out to you. They come to you in networking rooms, so it's great to feel connected and find ways to make that connection, even without the face-to-face contact.
Yeah, I think that's again that's going to be the exciting part when we can actually go back to events. It also kind of levels the playing field. So I know that putting Meet Magento New York on is extremely expensive. So it does allow people to attend that maybe can't afford to come to New York. And it does also allows sponsors and helps you as the organizer, I think, bring on more sponsors that maybe wouldn't want to come to New York or don't feel comfortable there. So it allows a more, like I think what you said, more of an attendance, and as well as a broader audience.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely seeing spikes in attendance. I think Meet Magento UK saw over 1,200 people attend. Then there was the MAC event. It was also about 1,000 people, I think. So we're seeing accessibility working. I love it.
Do you think there's a concern around privacy and how users are using these platforms and the way the data is being shared?
I think folks might have a concern about that, but again, it depends on your platform of choice, right? They're trying to make sure that they deal with privacy issues. So in this platform, for example, yes, people will reach out to you. You can share virtual business cards, but your contact details, like your email address and your telephone number, is not shared. They leave that entirely up to you. And we also have to abide by a code of conduct, right? Just because the technology allows you to reach out with and text chat with every single person at the event doesn't mean we have to. The technology allows you to be selective, so we have to be respectful, filter, figure out who the best contacts are, and reach out only to those people. And the flip side is we have a choice. No matter how much communication is coming at us, we have ways to filter that as well, and we can choose who to respond back to.
And what about things that you're doing to set apart Meet Magento New York? How are you making it that special event that it's always been? How are you trying to make it different than the other online events that we've seen?
I think some of it we've discussed already in terms of opening the platform earlier. So that makes the difference for me. I have not been at an event where the event platform is open, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the event. So we've spent so much time apart. It gives people that time to reach out to each other and learn about what the next person is doing. Certainly they think of the preparation that goes into events like this. One day isn't enough to get to know everything that's happening in the community. So that's definitely a huge difference for me. Then the platform. I guess it's not unique because a few of us have selected this platform, but it's about what is the perfect platform. And we're not there yet, right? We're all at the stage where we're figuring out for ourselves, what do we want from an event? So I think with Meet Magento New York, there's going to be a strong push for people to give me feedback. That is a challenge at every event, for people to respond to the post-event survey. The response rate is not very high usually. So we'll be seeking that kind of feedback so we can do better and we can figure out what matters at events like this, and hopefully make sure we provide what people need for the next event. The other major difference is in the management, right? For face-to-face events, you have time once you select your event to figure out the audio visual, for example. You can keep doing that until the week before the event. But with online platforms, you have to make sure when you select it that it responds to your event. Like we said, multi-track events and changes every half hour. So that, is a huge difference from planning a face-to-face event. But I think the big thing for me at Meet Magento New York is early access. Very often, even though Meet Magento events have been around, this is the 7th Meet Magento New York. How long have Meet Magento events been around, Brent? Do you remember? But even so, there's always new people in the community, right? There's people who don't understand what Meet Magento events are about. So it's nice to give them that time to figure out who is there and what the events are about. It's not just an event for developers or business folks. It has 3 tracks: a technical track, a business track, and a solutions track. So no matter who you are in the community, whether you're an e-commerce merchant or a dev or who you may be, there's something at this event for you. So that extra time to get to know folks and understand what you can get from the event and what you can give to the event the next time you want to participate makes a difference for me.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Great. So, Marsha, do you have any special requests for the guests that are going to attend the event?
I do, but if you don't mind my inserting this little comment, I want to talk about one of the biggest challenges we had at Meet Magento New York, and that was talk selection. That's really tough each year. It is really competitive, and we received more than 3 times as many submissions as there were available slots on the agenda. And it is really hard to turn down great talks. So I really want to say to everyone who submitted, we are so grateful for the time they took to submit. And being turned down does not mean it wasn't a great talk. And I really encourage them to submit again and to submit to other events. There's so many online events, so there are opportunities out there to speak at an event and have your voice heard now even more than before, right, with virtual events. So we have to take those opportunities.
Yeah, I think the talk submission is now even more competitive because you have you don't have to travel, you don't have to get a hotel room, and the event organizer doesn't have to sometimes give a bonus to somebody to come. They don't have to pay for their travel.
Right.
So it makes it even more competitive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the reason we usually have Meet Magento New York over a day and a half usually, because there are really great talks and we want to accommodate them. With virtual events, there are just so many events moved to this time of year. We decided on a 1-day event this year. And, sponsors need time for people to come over. So we added a lot more breaks this year. So you're right, Brent. We had a lot more international submissions this year. And it was hard to turn them down. I almost feel like, I want to run another event. But with Black Friday and Christmas coming up, it's a bad time of year. So thank you, everyone who submitted, really. Yes, but to everyone, I would like to say, please join us. We'd love to see you. We'd like to have your feedback. Go to meetmagento.nyc, get your tickets. Free tickets are available. Yes, they are free. Join us, join the platform, give us your feedback, get on social media. Our hashtag is MM20NYC. In fact, it's the same for all Meet Magento events. Keep in mind, registration is a 2-step process. Get both of those steps done. Do add a picture. As I was saying earlier, it is so easy to scroll past a profile without a picture. So do that. Completing your profile allows the platform to provide matches for you. So I'd really like for you to have the best experience from this platform, and completing your profile will help you get that. Go to the event feed. That's where everything is happening. Without our sponsors, we are so grateful for them. The events like this would not happen. So there's great draws. Avalara has a draw of a $100 Visa gift card. You must visit the booth. Shipper HQ has great giveaways, a 30-day trial with conditions. They have giveaways like a water bottle, socks. Go to the event feed. That's where it's at. Sift offers 1 month of free services subject to conditions. I know Vertex and Digital, who support us year after year, have great giveaways. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And I guess a message to all of our guests: network responsibly. We have to observe a code of conduct. So let's not spam people because we can. It's great technology, so let's make great use of a great opportunity. The flip side is your profile might be so interesting and you might get lots of great requests. I really hope you do. And this event is so useful for you. And feel free to filter them out as you like. If you remember our event from last year, we had an amazing Broadway opening. If you were not with us, look at our YouTube channel or get a ticket and join the event feed. It is the first post on the event feed. So we had this Broadway opening with our very own Jordan Griffey. He is amazing. It's a really exciting opening. And for those of you who like theater, you will love it. And it was based on Hamilton, who a lot of us love. I know Maddie loves it. So I won't give too much away, but don't miss the opening of this year's event. See you all there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
One thing that I remember from last year, from every one of the Meet Magento New Yorks, was the great cocktail party and your specialized drinks that you have. Are you going to have some recipes so we can all do that at home?
That is a great idea. So yeah, we're all having to do our parties on our own this year. We'll share recipes. Maybe you can too. Share your recipes on social media, share your pictures. One thing I will share with you is the day after MM20 NYC is my mom's birthday. Yay!
Have a happy
Halloween.
birthday. Yeah. Very exciting. Yeah, I think one year you had it the day before Halloween, because I remember seeing kids in New York City in their full costumes going out for trick-or-treats.
That was amazing. We had perfect weather. We all got to go together to the parade in New York. It was the first time I'd actually been to that. It was really, really fun, and it was a unique experience. So we're all together. So hopefully 1 year sometime that can happen again. It would be fantastic.
That was my first and only Meet Magento New York.
Was it?
Yeah. It was great.
It was great. And do you remember the after party venue? We had this rooftop that we could open up. The weather was perfect. The food was great. Yep. We'll have to do that again sometime.
It's going to be like that again this year, because we'll all have our nice little home bars and home dance floors.
Yeah.
And then
there you
hopefully we'll be able to do the little robots on the iPads. We're all dancing together and running into each other.
That would be great. A robot is probably the only dance partner I should have, considering my dance moves. But yeah, it will be fun.
Well, Marsha, I really appreciate this time you've taken, and we're very excited about Meet Magento New York, and all the best, and it's going to be such a great event. And thank you again for taking this time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited about the event. It was great talking about it and just feeling extra motivated. Good to see you both.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.